Hello, and welcome to the Badhumanist look at the Demonology Warlock. Now, this is a spec that has gotten a lot of changes to it, and I'm glad to report that I really like this spec. I think that it might be my favorite of the three. So again, if you haven't already, take a look at my Affliction and my Destruction Warlock videos. That should already be up on the channel. But I really do think that I've saved the best for last in this case. So, as always, I'm going to talk through the passives and abilities. Again, look at the kind of core toolkit that this spec has. Go through the talents, look for things like synergy, usefulness, are they fun, how do they look, stuff like that. Moving to the stats very quickly, just talk about what stats actually have some kind of synergy with the spec, what stats maybe don't. And then again, end with a bit of a summary, right? Overall thoughts, hope for the future, and then kind of wrap it up from there. Let's take a look at our passive. So soul shards are here. It works the same way as Affliction does. So again, you generate a single soul shard with certain abilities, and then you spend them. You have Soul Link, so 20% of all damage you take is actually taken by your demon pet instead. And Soul Leech also heals you for 20% and your pet for 50% of the absorption it grants. Here is Soul Leech. Again, it's the same as the other two Warlock specs. Again, gives you passive healing. Mastery here just increases the damage done by your demons. This, of course, will scale it with more mastery. Demonic Core, so when your wild imp expends all of their energy, so again, they have a finite amount of time they last, you have a 10% chance to absorb their life essence, granting you a stack of Demonic Core. When you summon Dreadstalkers Fade Away, you have a 100% chance to absorb their life essence, giving you a Demonic Core. And Demonic Core reduces the cast time of Demon Bolt by 100%, and you can have up to 4 stacks. So you can see Demon Bolt is a very long cast time, 3.9 seconds, but you will never be casting this. You will only ever use it when you have the Demonic Core stacks. Unending Resolve is here, same as with the other specs, 3-minute cooldown. Unending Breath, that's a talent. This is your main cooldown. It's a 1.5 minute cooldown. It's a casted cooldown, so you summon a Demonic Tyrant to increase the duration of all your current demons by 15 seconds, and increase the damage of all your other demons by 15% while damaging the target. So again, it increases the duration of any demons that are out currently, and then any demons that are out while it is out get the 15% damage bonus. So again, if you summon a demon while it is out, it does not get the increased duration, but it does get the increased damage. Summon Demon, so for this spec, you're basically going to always be rocking the Felguard. So this is a unique minion to the Demonology Warlock. And so, yeah, there you go. Soul Stone is still here. Shadow Fury is still here. Shadow Bolt is your main filler here. Again, it generates 1 Soul Shard. Summoning here, this is a talent. That's a talent. Implosion is one of your AoE abilities. So again, demonic forces suck all your wild imps towards the target and then cause them to violently explode, dealing X Shadow Flame damage to all enemies within 8 yards. And you can have a lot of imps out, so again, you can get a lot of kind of burst AoE damage with this, which is quite nice. Health Funnel, again, is here as well. Hand of Gul'dan, again, this will spend 1 to 3 soul shards, and it calls on a meteor. With wild imps, it does damage when it hits to all enemies within 8 yards, and it summons up to 3. So for example, if you have 1 soul shard and you spend it, you get 1 imp. 2, you get 2 imps. 3, you get 3 imps. Fear, Eye of Kilrog, Enslaved Demon. Drain Life, as I mentioned, is now just basically a passive heal. Its damage is nothing, but its healing is quite good. Demonic Gateway, Demon Bolt, I talked about this before, sends a fiery soul of a fallen demon at the enemy, causing X Shadow Flame damage. It generates 2 soul shards here. So again, you're only going to probably be casting it when you have those charges. Soulwell, Healthstone, Call Dreadstalkers. So again, this summons 2 Dreadstalkers to attack the target for 12 seconds. It is a cast and it costs 2 soul shards. Very much of the talent. This is the talent. Banish is still there. And then this is the Command Demon, which again stuns the target for 4 seconds. We'll go with that. Alright. So let's start looking at talents here. 15 row, you have Dread Lash. So when your Dreadstalkers charge into battle, their Dread Bite attack now hits all targets within 8 yards, and it deals 20% more damage. So it gives you some slight single target damage increase because they still do more damage. It's more about the AoE 8-yard splash damage. Demonic Strength. Infuse your Felguard with Demonic Strength and command it to charge your target and unleash a Fellstorm that will deal 400% increased damage. Now, you can see here Fellstorm is an ability on a 30-second cooldown that basically does 40% of weapon damage to everything within 8 yards. This basically just empowers it and makes it worthwhile to actually be using on a single target, basically. The last one here is Bioscourge Bombers. I'm actually going to show you what this looks like here. So you get a target, drop it down, and you can see the portal, and it basically just like dive bombs the target. Of course, now my imps are going to attack it, and they won't stop. So that's that. 30 row, we have Demonic Calling. Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt have a 20% chance to make your next call Dreadstalkers cost no soul shards and have no cast time. So basically, again, is a chance on your Shadow or Demon Bolt to make your Dreadstalkers basically have be free and have no cast time. Now, here's the issue. It still has a 20-second cooldown. So it does not reset the cooldown of the ability, which would actually be nice. So basically, you can get a proc right after you use it, and you have to basically wait. And so you're going to basically be possibly wasting charges in a sense, because you can get like a second or third proc of this, but you can't use this. So I found that to be a bit clunky. I really do think that it needs to reset the cooldown or reduce the cooldown or something as well, because you can get some bad luck. Power Siphon, instantly sacrifice 2 of your imps to generate 2 shards of Demonic Core. This is great because it gives you it gives you a reliable way of getting Demon Bolts. Right? When you need Demon Bolts, when you need Soul Shards, because, and you'll see a talent later on, because you're basically going to always be having imps up, this is just so good. Doom, this needs to do more damage. It just is a dot that at the end of the 30 seconds does a bunch of shadow damage. It needs to be doing like 5 times the amount of damage, in my mind, because this is just too strong. It just synergizes too well with the core of the class to not take. 45 row, this is the same again as all the Warlocks. Again, you have your improved Soul Leech, you have Dark Pact Shield, and you have Burning Rush movement speed. 60 row, so casting your Dreadstalkers cause the target to take additional Shadow Flame damage from you for the next 12 seconds. This is great. I mean, it's a nice thing. It's passive. It's kind of baked in whenever you're using that ability, which again, you're basically using it off cooldown. You get 12 seconds, again, out of the 20, which is the cooldown, of increased damage. So basically, while they are out, the target takes increased damage. You have Soul Strike. Command your Felguard to strike into the soul of the enemy, dealing shadow damage. This needs to do more damage. I think the damage scaling is actually off on this anyway. It's a nice kind of thing to have to use regularly, and again, it does generate a soul shard, which is actually very nice. To have able to get a soul shard every 10 seconds is a very good thing, and I think its value is more for the soul shard than the damage, but it just needs to do a little bit more damage than it does now. The last one is Summon Vile Fiend. So again, it summons a Vile Fiend to fight for you for the next 15 seconds. It's a 40% cooldown. It is a cast. It just costs a soul shard. Now again, when you use your Demonic Tyrant, that would increase duration of Vile Fiend. It also increases the damage of Vile Fiend. So again, there's definitely some synergy there with the Vile Fiend and with the Demonic Tyrant here. 75 row, again, Dark Fury just reduces the cooldown on Shadow Fury. Mortal Coil here, again, horrifies the enemy. Demonic Circle is Demonic Circle. 90 row, Inner Demons. So this sounds just too good. So you passively summon a Wound Imp to fight for you every 10 seconds, and have a 10% chance to also summon an additional demon to fight for you for 15 seconds. So again, this you'll see in my damage logs later. This gets a lot of demons out into the playing field, and again, you can empower them and extend their durations with Demonic Tyrant, and it's glorious. Also, it allows you to start the fight with 3 imps, which allows you to sacrifice those imps with Power Siphon from the very beginning to get a free Demon Bolt to give yourselves more shards. So again, I found that it really helps get the rotation going at the beginning, especially in conjunction there with Power Siphon. Without that, you have to basically hand a Gul'dan to get your imps out, then sacrifice them, and then Demon Bolt to kind of get your shards back up and going. Soul Conduit, I've mentioned this in the last two. I don't like this talent at all for any Warlock spec. I could be absolutely wrong. This could actually be a great talent for all we know. I just don't like it, and I'll talk more about that in my Warlock summary video. Now, Grimoire of Service, so this basically summons a second demon, and basically you get each of these spells, right? You'll get a Grimoire Imp, Voidwalker, Succubus, Fell Hunter, and Fell Guard ability, basically, and it allows you to summon another one of these things. Again, you're going to probably want to pick the Fell Guard, and it will do 100% increased damage for 25 seconds. It's all it lasts, and it does that one extra ability. So either cleanses you, or taunts the target, seduces the target, interrupts the target, stuns the target. So again, you can use it as an ability in that way. Very good, very engaging talent. It just competes with this. 100 row, sacrifice souls. So each soul shard spent increases the damage of Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. This basically will stack up to 25% and then stay there. And it's very strong because, as you'll see, Demon Bolt and Shadow Bolt make up a good percentage of your overall damage, and getting a 25% buff on them consistently is just good. Demonic Consumption. So your Demonic Tyrant now destroys and absorbs any power of your wild imps. So basically it makes this stronger, but you lose imps. And again, if I was to take this talent, I probably would not take Power Siphon, because the whole point of Power Siphon is to have the imps available to use to sacrifice. So I would probably change up on that a little bit, because I found that, again, I don't like losing my imps, even if it doesn't power them. Nether Portal is interesting. It costs 3 soul shards, and it tears open a portal, and every time you spend soul shards, you will command demons from the Nether to come out and fight for you. So it's a way of kind of recruiting more demons. I just found its cost to be quite high, because again, you spend your 3 soul shards, but then you gotta build back up to spend them again. So by the time you start spending your soul shards again, you've lost a good bit of that 20 seconds. So I just found it to be a bit clunky. They either need to increase the duration so that it lasts longer, or reduce the cost. Either one I think could definitely help. But so yeah, so this, actually, let me change that around. This is what I would probably found to be the best. Now again, From the Shadows can be competitive. Soul Strike can be nice for the extra soul shards, but I did find that something like this, of course your 45 and 75 road, you can pick whatever you want. I found this to be the most fun, the most engaging. So let's take a look here at our rotation. Alright, so let's do that. Get some imps going. Get some Dreadstalkers going. Get my guy out here. And again, you're basically just summoning imps and summoning demons at all times. Let me sacrifice some, get some demon bolts off here, get some nice builders. And what you'll find is that you can get this kind of rotation going where you have all these free procs. You can get all these imps out and rolling. And it just feels so good. Kind of wasted one there. Get the Gul'dan out, get him out. But yeah, it just feels really, really good. The procs are really good. Use that again. Build this up. Get my Bile Fiend out again. Sacrifice. Get some more charges here. You can see, like, I got 2 charges of the proc, and I can just keep doing this. You know, I can keep Demon Bolting and Hand of Gul'daning over and over again. You can see all those imps, and the more imps I have, then the more they have a chance to get me more of these free Demon Bolts. It feels really good. It feels very engaging. I'm going to roll it around to get another possible demon buddy out here again. So let's sacrifice. So let's start to get a bunch of imps out here. Alright. Getting all my dudes out here. let's summon the demon. And again, that extends all the duration on all of those dudes. But yeah, so this is basically your rotation here. And you're trying to make sure you don't cap on soul shards, right? So you never want to use it at 4. You always want to use it at 3 or below. But other than that, as long as you're not going to cap, you just keep using those procs and keep summoning yourself your demons. So that is Demonology Warlock. And again, like I said, it does amazing damage. Again, we're not worrying about damage right now, but it's definitely not tuned. But just look at this, okay? So again, you have your imps doing the most. Of course, you get all those imps out. Demon Bolt is the second here. The Dreadstalker's melee, Demonic Tyrant. But look at this. Look at all these things. And again, depending on what talent you take, again, because sometimes, again, Nether Portal can bring out more, Inner Demons can bring out more. But I did like a 7-minute fight or something like that, and the number of different demons I had summoned made this thing like so long. But yeah, it feels good. Now, the one downside is the downside that has always been the case for this spec, and that's movement speed. So many of your abilities are casted. Summon Demonic Tyrant is a cast. Call of Dreadstalkers is a cast. Hand of Godan is a cast. Shadow Bolt is a cast. Now, Demon Bolt's not a cast because you're using it off proc, but Summon Vilefin is a cast. So Demonic Strength is not. Now, that being said, if you want some more movement, again, Demonic Calling would help because, again, it makes the Call of Dreadstalkers cost no soul shards and have no cast time. So that gives you some more movement ability there. Of course, Doom does that as well because it's just a dot you can put up. It's an instant cast. But in general, as you can see here, a lot of your abilities are casting, right? You can get rid of Vilefin from the shadows to reduce that cast time, or again, take Soul Strike. But your core abilities here are going to be things you have to cast, right? Hand of Godan, Shadow Bolt, Summon Demonic Tyrant. So a good percentage of your damage is coming out of cast, and as we saw, this was a spec that looked great on Sims, right? Even in Legion, when no one played this spec, it would look absolutely great on like Sim rankings. But you look at log rankings and no one plays it. And the reason was because you can't execute that damage with an actual rage fight with mechanics. And that's going to be its challenge. Can it do the damage that it's capable of doing while not standing still? So the fact that it's a bit ahead while standing still, I think is okay, because in the actuality, you're not going to be able to have as fluid of a rotation, because when you have to move, you're going to have to cancel some of your casts. So we'll have to see what kind of talent layout works out. You might actually take talents that would be like technically less single target patchwork style damage, but actually help you in actual raid fights because of movement and things like that. So we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so let's open up and look at stats here. So crit is crit, right? Again, it's just doing more damage every once in a while. So just like versatility, same thing here. Mastery, of course, is going to be super strong, because any summon demon that you summon, whether it be through the Nether Portal, whether it be from the passive, the talent that I have currently, doesn't matter. Every single thing, again, I have the Vilefin, that counts as 1. Dreadstalkers, those count as 1. All your imps count as 1. Your Conferian, right? All of these demons are going to be increased with Mastery. So again, Mastery I think is going to be a very strong stat, because if you look again at my damage breakdown, anything that has parentheses is a demon. So Wild Imp, Dreadstalker, Demonic Tyrant, my melee buddy, Dreadstalker, right? Conferian again is my pet, Demonic Tyrant, Vilefin, right? These are the satyrs that got summoned, so on and so forth. So you can see a good percentage of my damage is coming from pets. In fact, it only looks like the 13, the 6.7, and 6.8. So again, about 25, a little bit over 25, plus this, Yeah, so about 26 or so percent of my damage is from me. So Mastery has an effect on 75-ish percent of all my damage. So again, this is going to be a very valuable stat. Haste, of course, is going to be nice. The faster you can cast Shadow Bolt, the more soul shards you can get. Again, because there's so much casted abilities, being able to get these off quicker will help improve your movement. So again, haste will probably be valuable as well. Again, crit and reverse is going to come down to scaling, as I mentioned before. They're both just passive damage increases. There's no real synergies like we've seen with some of the other specs. Alright, so overall summary, as I mentioned, I really do believe that the Demonology Warlock is my favorite of all the Warlocks. It has no dots, which again is a love or hate thing. And I hate to say this, but it to me is what like a Beastmaster Hunter should be. Now, it's the exact opposite, because Beastmaster Hunter has unlimited mobility, and this has zero mobility. But the idea of a pet class, the idea of a class that does its damage through pets, you have the same result, right? Beastmaster, again, 80% of the damage comes from your pets. Here, about 75% of your damage comes from your pets or demons. And this is just so much more fun. Now, again, if Beastmaster maybe had kept the mobility, right, maybe do a little bit less damage, but basically has this idea of empowering your pet and summoning pets and those kind of things. I know some people didn't like that before, but again, this just feels really good. And it's like, like, as someone who used to play a hunter as a main, this would be a really cool way of kind of using this pet idea that feels engaging. I feel involved in the process, whereas in Beastmaster I feel passive. So I have a lot of good things to say about this spec. Again, I think it's going to have pretty good damage. I am a bit worried about its AoE potential, because it doesn't have the dot ability to cross dot or anything. Now, again, you do have, like Demonic Strength is an AoE, right? There is some things here that can help with your AoE, but it might be one of the weaker specs for AoE overall. We'll have to kind of wait and see, obviously. But those are my thoughts. If you like what I had to say, go ahead and give me a like. If you dislike what I had to say, go ahead and get it a dislike. What do you think about the Demonology Warlock? I know a lot of people are playing it on beta right now. I can see why. It's a very fun spec. What do you think? Do you think the mobility is going to kill it? Do you think that the fact that the majority of your abilities are casted might actually hurt its viability in Mythic Plus and in raiding? I would love to kind of hear, and we can get a good discussion going down there in the comment section. Look forward to my Warlock summary video that should be coming out a day after this video comes out. And again, I hope to see you guys in the next video.